friends, relatives, strangers, and enemies you have clicked over to www.youtube.com/JVBJASPERTX. You've reached the Texas Conservative Channel, and this is a good place to come if you want to be educated on the politics in America, where I keep it real. I talk about the flaws of the Democrat Party. And in doing so, you understand that the Democrats, they give speeches from time to time. Their leader, Barack Obama, gives speeches from time to time. And of course, when Democrats give speeches, they produce all kinds of information to talk about. They stupid statement after stupid statement. I have here the text of Obama's speech to the Chamber of Commerce, and it is filled with stupid statements, but I've got some highlighted that I want to talk about. And before doing that, I want to tell the people watching the video that, as in so many episodes before that I've spoken, that the Democrat Party is out to destroy America. And one of the many reasons that I say this is because the Democrat Party goes under the mantra of being for helping poor people. That's what they believe. They feel they know what's best for everybody, and they feel they know what's best for poor people. And they think they are doing poor people's bidding. And you know, all you got to do is read between the lines, and you can see what they're doing, people. Why is it that the Democrats would ever, and how is it that the Democrats would ever want there to be anything but poor people? If poor people is who the Democrats are fighting for, and if poor people vote Democrat, then as politicians, why, it stands to reason, why would the Democrats ever want there to be anything but poor people? They would run out of votes. And you think the Democrats want to shrink or expand their voting base? And the way you expand that voting base is to create more poor people. That's more people to manipulate, more people you can jive into voting Democrat. And as a Republican, as somebody who operates this Texas Conservative Channel, I feel a duty to point this out, because it's diabolical. It's diabolical what the Democrats do. They conjure up jealousy. They try to get you jealous of somebody that's got more than you. And to prove this, and I'm not just talking out my rear end, to prove this, I'm going to point out some things in Obama's speech that are very relevant to what I'm talking about. Now, Obama says, and I quote, "Over the last 2 years, I've sought advice from many of you as we were grappling with the worst recession most of us have ever known. It's a recession that led to some very difficult decisions," end quote. Folks, the mandate of the health care bill was not a difficult decision for Barack Hussein Obama and his followers. No, they had this in their gall from the start. They intended on hurting America from the start. And the health care bill is one of the ways and means Democrats can create more poor people. Remember, Democrats, poor people, voting pool. Do they want it to shrink, or do they want it to grow? They want it to grow. They do this by creating apathy. They do this by electing the people that they do. They do this by going before the Chamber of Commerce and spitting off a litany of bullshit. But it's not going to escape the scrutiny that I'm going to put forth here. Here's another quote. And I quote, "America's success didn't happen by accident. It happened because of the freedom that has allowed good ideas to flourish and capitalism to thrive." Okay, that's one way of baiting patriotic people, okay, and getting them to go for it. But we're not going to go for it, because we know that capitalism is not going to thrive, or you put high taxation on people with half success, and then hand that money out to people who haven't earned it. All that's going to do is create a larger and larger deficit. The Democrat knows this, people, and again, it's diabolical. Third stupid Democrat Party statement, and I quote, they see a widening chasm of wealth and opportunity in this country, and they wonder if the American dream is slipping away, end quote. Now, Barack Obama knows that the American dream is individualist in nature. He knows American dream is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the bastard also know, and his followers also know, that the American dream is not life, liberty, and the pursuit of your neighbor's happiness. He must do that on his own, absent government bureaucracy. No, the American dream is on your own hands. It's not something that the government can hop into and affect. But Barack Obama sure wants it that way. And of course, I've got to point it out. And let me read this one again for everybody, because this is real important. And I quote, they see a widening chasm of wealth and opportunity in this country, and they wonder if the American dream is slipping away, end quote. Barack Obama is trying to stir up jealousy, people. Oh, these people over here have success, so these people over here should be pissed. And if you'll just support him, Barack Obama, and vote for him, he'll go make sure that you get your fair share of their stuff. Barack Obama's a communist, people. He's a socialist. The proof is in the pudding. All you got to do is read between the lines. Hell, all you got to do is read the lines, because they're becoming ever more blatant. And it's not going to escape the scrutiny of my channel. People, citizens. It's just a way of creating jealousy, and that's what the disadvantaged Democrat do. And again, here's another stupid statement. And Barack Obama's speechwriters are very clever. He says, and I quote, we need to out-innovate, out-educate, and out-build our competitors, end quote. Well, if he would have put in the word that he really means, this is how the sentence would have been read. We need to outspend, spend, and outspend our competitors. Because Barack Obama, he makes little subtle, statements about, maybe not spending as much, but then he'll make other statements that run contrary to what he initially was talking about. It's vintage Democrat. It's another ways and means that the Democrats are trying to keep people poor. Democrats, poor people, voting pool. Remember it, because they're trying to expand it. And it's my duty here on the Texas Conservative channel to point it out. And folks, that's why you should click over here to hear about these things. And it goes on. Let's see here. And I quote, but I want to be clear, even as we make America the best place on earth to do business, businesses also have a responsibility to America, end quote. And it is the responsibility of a business to make money and to succeed. And the president has a responsibility to protect America, and the government needs to stay out of the economics, quite simply and quite frankly. And I pick up another stupid statement here. Let's see here. And I quote, that's why I want to put more people to work rebuilding crumbling roads and bridges, end quote. Now, where does Barack Obama think he's going to get that money? It's not going to fall out of the sky. Massive individual construction projects are not going to go on. It's going to be tax money. On top of the $14 trillion already spent down the cracker, Barack Obama wants to go back and get it from the rest of us who are working and already hurting, take our money to go build these roads and bridges. It's just going to cause a higher and higher deficit. He thinks he's got a blank checkbook, people. That's what's up. And here's another quote, and I quote, to make room for these investments in education, innovation, infrastructure, government also has a responsibility to cut spending that we just can't afford. And that's why I promised to veto any bill larded up with earmarks. And that's why I propose that we freeze annual domestic spending for the next 5 years, which would reduce the deficit by more than $400 billion over the next decade. And I end quote. Now, he proposed that we freeze domestic spending. What's wrong with just flat out cutting domestic spending? Cut welfare, lock and stock. What's that going to cause in the unemployment line? It's going to cause them to shrink. Those people will be forced to get their asses out to work. They know Barack Obama won't be there with a check, a free house, a free trailer, a free this, a free that, a free lunch, a free sit on your ass at the expense of the people that are working. It's time for that shit to stop. And coming to the Texas Conservative Channel to hear about it is a good place to start. So come on, people. Hang in. More stupid statements. And I quote, but ultimately winning the future is not just about what the government can do to help you succeed. End quote. No, individualism is you succeeding on your own. When we all hop on a train that's speeding and we all bind ourselves together in the fashion that Barack Obama wants us to do, that in the way he wants us to do, the train's going to wreck and all of us will go down. So don't buy his bull. Again, this is a way of creating more poor people. This is the way the Democrats do it. And they're very manipulative. They're very diabolical in their schemes. But there's people like me watching out for America. There's people like me making YouTube videos, keeping track of the crap. Another quote. And we could not accept a broken system where insurance companies could drop people because they got sick or families went bankrupt because of medical bills. Folks, the government is mandating that you go get insurance. Mandating that you pay a premium every month, no matter how poor you are. That's what the health care law says. Now, if you can't afford to pay the emergency room right then, what the hell makes Barack Obama think you're going to be able to pay a monthly premium? You know, if anything, that's going to bankrupt the economy. And with insurance companies covering everybody for anything they've got, pretty soon there won't be any insurance companies. Everybody will go out of the business. Sure, the governments can make the insurance companies cover them, but the government can't make insurance companies stay in business. Folks, it's just a way of creating more poor people. I tried to tell you that. And here's another quote. Now is the time to invest in America. Today, American companies have nearly $2 trillion sitting in their balance sheets, end quote. Meaning he wants businesses to go out and hire people, whether it's safe or not. Whether businesses are going to get screwed by his health care bill or not, Barack Obama thinks they should go out and hire people. But no, he knows it's going to cause more people. It will cause more people to become poor. And folks, you can hear this on the Texas Conservative Channel. Come back and see the next episode where I'm keeping track of it for you. I've got the file on the Democrats.